Hello, hello. I'll let people hop on for a little bit and then we will get going. I'm excited to talk about this. This is kind of a hot topic, so we will wait it out. Let people hop on. I'll give you a minute. All right. So a couple people are hopping on. Hello, hello. All right. So make sure that you post a one below if it's your first through third time catching me live. One below. Tell me where you're from. Okay. Post a two below if you're an oldie but goodie. Okay. Your name actually goes into a hat at the end of the month and you can win some cool shit. All right. Like Amazon cards and all kinds of stuff. Okay. I just recorded my welcome video to the membership. Super stoked. It comes out tomorrow. I know, long time. Oh my God. In my video, let me tell you what I did. Okay. So I have this cupcake, from like Costco. And so I took a bite of it and I was like, you know how they say, you can't have your cake and eat it too? You actually can with this. Pretty creative, right? Right? Okay. Could have been, kind of, but whatever. I thought it was pretty cool. And or a good idea. Um, so I'm really excited about it. I'm like super stoked about it, honestly. You guys are gonna get so much stuff. So I'm gonna tell you about it real quick and then we're gonna get started as people hop on. So basically in my membership, it's gonna be different. I know there's a lot of advocates out there, they do memberships, et cetera, et cetera. And I can't comment to them. I'm actually a member of two of them. One of them I think sucks. And one of them is decent. But what I've found, okay, and me, I'm not one to compare myself to others. All right. But we all look at things, and at least for me, I look at things and I see what people are doing, but I never seem to want to do it the way they do it ever. I'm like this oddball. Okay. So like people that follow me are what I call, and I have actually recorded the videos that I'm going to be posting on TikTok. So if you haven't followed me on TikTok, I'm actually like learning, but I love it. It's cool. I'm posting, and I'll post it here too, but go follow me on TikTok. Okay. Go follow me and then post below that you followed me and I'll put you in the hat an extra time. But I did a, videos. It's like 7 videos on advocates should, at least I do, have a niche. All right. So I said, oh yeah, I have a niche. I am not for everybody. And I numbered people. Okay. So I said there's a parent 1 in category 1, there's a parent 2 in category 2, and there's a parent in category 3. All right. And I joked and I said I'm a 2.5, 3 kind of advocate, which is true. So you guys are going to have to listen to that to kind of see, because each advocate should have a niche, who their people are, who they speak to, because I think, as we know, there's so many out there. Someone posted on one of my TikToks, there's like fake advocates out there. I don't know anything. I don't judge. I don't do any of that kind of stupid stuff, but like, I don't have time for any of that. But, I do know that I've seen other memberships. There's one, like I said, that is decent, and there's another one that is shit. And bottom line, I was like, okay, I'm doing something completely different here. All right. Like, I wanted to do something completely different. I don't want to do anything like what they did, you know? And not that what, like I said, one was good, one was shit, but like, it was just not my thing. It was not something that would have made me happy. You know what I mean? And in being part of them, I look at, okay, not just with my knowledge, but like I look at like, what am I gaining from this? You know? And I feel that that's important. And so I had to take it to another level. And so it's so cool. It's gonna, start off with, it's really where you guys are getting so many of my templates and my emails and documents and a lot of my products that are on my website, not all of them, but a lot of them. And you get to use them. They're things that I use right now. Okay. So, like my first email that I send out, my FERPA request with everything and the kitchen freaking sink. My first email that I send out, I had to tweak a little bit because obviously, instead of coming from an advocate, it would be coming from you. But other than that, it's all there. The request for evaluations, the naming of evaluations, all of that is there. And I talk about how you're going to learn the RIR. Okay. So, how in my first course, I teach, certain things. All right. And the plan, prepare, persuade. All right. And negotiate. The PPPN. And here you're going to learn the RIR, which is recognize situations, identify district's purposeful tactics, and realize when politics are interfering. All right. And you're going to be live with me on Zoom face to face 3 hours a month. All right. We're going to do Q&As. I'm going to do trainings on specific things but the purpose, the purpose of the membership is not to preach law to you. All right. Which is what I've found. All right. It's preach, 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 law, 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 law. They can't do this. They can't do that. They can't do this. They can't do that. Oh, that's a violation. That's the bleh. All right. That I talk a lot about here. All right. Shit. I give that to y'all for free. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to kick some ass in the freaking IEP meeting, how to walk your butt in the meeting or how to open up that computer and what to do. All right. How to be quick on your feet. Raven, someone told me the other day, they said, I wish I could stick a thumb drive in your brain and take it with me. I thought that was so cool. I was like, I've never heard that one before, but I thought it was really cool. And I was like, you know what? So I'm going to take that thumb drive and I'm going to give it to you. All right. And so it's really important to understand that this isn't a preaching of law. This is, teaching you what to do. Okay. When I say that I'm going to clip certain recordings, all right, you're going to listen to them, on with me on a Zoom where you can then say, what does that mean? All right. So I want to give you the auditory and I want to give you the visual. You'll see some recordings too. Okay. Of course, approved. And many of them actually, in fact, because in IEPs, I don't actually typically say the child's name ever. All right. So I usually say the student. All right. And I do that actually specifically because if I do share, then it is clean, right? So it's one of those things that actually works out for everybody, right? Because most of my parents actually do approve. And it's actually in my contract that they approve that I share the knowledge, not the personal, right? The name, the address, that kind of thing. So it's one of those things where I'm excited to show you and let you hear what I do. Some things your mouths will drop. Some things you'll be like, "Oh, I wish I thought about that." Or some things you'll be like, "I did that, but the outcome didn't come out the same. What do I need to do about it?" And then the cool part too that you're going to get a lot from, cuz I feel like you learn by doing, all right? And if we do it and we can bring it back to the table and say, hey, I have this community of people I get to go share this with, your recordings. Yeah, you get to go to your IEP meetings and bring me back your recordings. You and I talk about what we're going to share, and we talk about live with everybody else on a Zoom face to face what it is that you did amazing and then what it is that we can improve upon to where action is taken, to where things actually start to happen. I talked to you about the lengthy process of IEPs and how there's no instant gratification at all. But then again, you got to realize that if you took 9 months to a year, just say hypothetically, all right, to get a rock solid IEP. Is that worth it? Is it worth the time? Is it? Yes. Yes. Hands down. Is it frustrating? Is it a frustrating experience? Is it taxing on you? Is it stressful? 500%. But in the end all be all, which is the child winning, is 9 months to a year that long when they could technically have 21 through 21 years of an IEP. No, it's not. All right. And I'm going to teach you the game of consistency and persistency. I'm going to teach you the game of when parents, I always joke with them, but they still do it. Is they'll get an email and they will freak the hell out. Oh my God. They're messaging me. Oh, you guys know who does it. You all know. I'm calling you out. All right. Y'all know. All right. You guys get an email and you are messaging me on WhatsApp. Oh my God, I just forwarded an email to you. Or, oh, go check your email. Go check it. Go check it right now. You got to look at it right now. Use what, Aaron? It's the confidence and knowledge to back that confidence. Oh, I'm going to teach you confidence, y'all. All right. I'm going to teach you confidence. All right. And I don't believe in that fake it till you make it shit. All right. I don't know who came up with that. That is some dumb shit. Doesn't even make sense. You want to be real, right? You want to say, hey, that's what I'm doing. I tell you, I went through 6.5 years of stupidity. I was a complete and utter idiot. All right. And I have a master's degree. So it goes to show that it has nothing to do with a degree. You can have degree of 0. Okay. Do you know a lot of people today? I want to say, I have to look up the statistics, but I want to say, well, I know for a fact that people who made A's in school, the statistics show that A people work under C people. The statistics show where I don't know the percentage on this one, but I know it's a large percentage of people that are more successful. My dad being one of them. No, he got a bachelor's degree. Never mind. But more successful by being either self-employed or, whatever it is, but not having any type of education. Has nothing to do with that. All right. Life experience is what gives you intelligence, to be quite honest. All right. And experience with this IEP process is what women came up with. Whatever. Ugh. All right. I mean, there is some truth to it. I will say that. Some truth, some little. But but one of the things, use my IEP recording. You have to tell me which one's good. No, I got to go listen to so many of them. It's crazy. But, it's so, so, so important to learn that way, to hear it, to see it, to be able to say, okay, can you explain that to me? Can you explain how I get quick in what I say? You guys hear me say, because I'm very verbal. Go figure. All right. And sometimes the words that come out of my mouth may sound harsher than they actually are. I tell people all the time, just so you know, my exterior is a lot stronger than my interior. Fact. Okay, y'all, I just gave you a pure fact about me. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But truth, okay, I'm a lot stronger on the outside than the inside. And that should go with the saying, to be quite honest, of don't judge a book by its cover. Ever. I can't tell you how many times I've been wrong when I used to do that. All right. Never judge a book by its cover. Give you an example, and I'm going to be real with you. Okay. I'm going to own it. So back in the day, uh, like young 20s, early 20s, I was a waitress. And yes, I fired myself because I told the manager to go fuck himself, but that's another story. Okay, y'all didn't hear that from me. I really didn't say that. No, I really did. Okay, so it was at Ruby Tuesdays too. All right, so he was rude though, like so disrespectful. I'll tell you what he did, Matt. But bottom line, all right, um, I was really good at it because I'm a people person. And I was like working with this table, and bottom line, the manager, he actually went and put a note on another table telling me to stop talking to the table I was talking to because they wanted to talk with me. It was just so rude. Like he did it in front of the customers and everything. Um, and this was a manager that everybody hated. He was one of those. But and I was just tired of putting up with this shit. But I was really good at it. And I had people come in, and I automatically figured I wouldn't get a good tip, you know? But I still served them like I would anybody else. But in my mind, I judged the book by its cover. And it taught me a hard lesson that that's the dumbest thing to ever do, because they left me $100 tip, and I pretty much have not done that since, you know? Um, it was a learning experience. And I'm saying this to you because the same thing goes with an IEP team. The ones I think are going to be a nightmare aren't. The ones that I think are not. Did I say that right? Um, and you just have to go in it with a clean slate, each and every one. All right? Respond with kindness as much as you can. When the games start getting played is when I start taking action. All right. If they're just emailing or just being a pain in the butt for a moment or whatever, I still stay cordial. You start playing games and lying is when I get pretty ticked. All right. And then the claws come out. So, with that said, I wanted to share that. But in the membership, it's just going to be really, really, really cool. I'm excited about it. And it's going to build. I'm going to be putting up more and more, PDFs and documents and, sample emails, and, things are going to be added all the time. Why? Because I come up with new stuff all the time, based on situations that are never the same. That's why I can't say, oh yeah, I've been through it all, because I haven't, and that we're talking 15 years. So it's important to remember that, there's a lot to be learned, and us experts, if you will, are still learning. All right. So moving on. So I saw a TikTok today. All right. And she showed a picture. And this is stuff that, I've seen before. Didn't really think much of it. There's a girl out there who, I guess that's her niche of, she advocates and is really big into, the abuse that happens in schools. Okay. That is things that I've experienced. It's things I have dealt with. It's things that I know happen, but I've not come across situations that are by far like crazy. But I've come across situations where, the children have marks on them. They have, different things like that. And you can tell they were grabbed, and that you can tell that it's launching tomorrow. And you see these marks, okay, as moms, dads, grandparents, etc. We see these marks, right? Oh, don't forget, post a 1 below if it's your first or third time catching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Tell me where you're from, okay? And, we automatically do that. And everybody's got an opinion, right? But we don't know the whole story, okay? Because if you grab a child, all right, now there's some marks where it's like, all right, we don't know what happened. We don't know what the child was doing. It's not the child's fault, but sometimes it's not the teacher's fault either. And I'm just being a devil's advocate here in this situation because I have personally seen where and been in an IEP meeting that literally had me in tears, okay? And mom didn't realize, all right, and this is actually a video I can actually show you in the membership, to be quite honest. I'm going to talk to mom about it first. I mean, even though I have her permission, I want to ask this one again because this is personal, you know, and get her written permission on this one because, again, I already have it, but again, on this specific situation because it's emotional, I'm in tears. The attorney's there, everybody's there. This was a team that, the attorney was the one I was in World War III with for forever. And now we've kind of done I say a 160, not a 180, but a 160. And, I've learned a lot from her and we get along fine now. But, bottom line is, this teacher was seriously beat up by this child. When he got upset, that's what he did. And it was difficult because in the IEP meeting, she showed her arms and her chest and her face that day because it had actually happened. That it just happened to happen one time that day. And I mean, I was just really distraught by it. I really was. And, mom was not aware that it was that bad. And so it was one of those things where she was caught off guard in the meeting too, because we both felt for the teacher. Nobody should have to subject themselves to that, even though it's our kiddos, right? But no one should have to subject themselves to that. Something has to go into place. A better BIP had to go into place. All right. Does that mean it wasn't the district's job? Because the teachers don't put together the BIPs. Okay. They implement them, but they're not the ones who are supposed to come up with the BIPs and do all of the documentation and written portion of it so that all staff members are then trained on how to implement it in the appropriate way. All right. And it absolutely. And that's one of the things we did, Bill, is put cameras, and they're required now, Bill. It's a law. All right. And most states have picked it up to where you put in an email. There's a form as well. This was in Texas, but you put in a form, and I know my state has picked it up. Texas has picked it up. Multiple states have picked it up. Where in the more restrictive settings, well, look it up. I'll look it up too with you. But, in the more, it's only in restrictive settings. It's not in like, the LRE or regular classroom or anything. It's restrictive settings. All right. And you don't get to have access to that camera. Okay. It's one of those things where you can request it. It automatically happens. It happens within 30 days. And then you're welcome to request to review the footage. And then what happens is you go and you sit with whomever, with admin, and you can review it. All right. And the wording isn't moderate to severe. It's about the setting. So it's a restrictive setting. All right. And so I can download. I'll actually just add the PDF to my membership for Texas. And I'll even do the one here and you can see what it looks like. FOIA is not worth it, y'all. I can tell you that right now. It's not worth it. All right. If you keep the right data and the documentation, you don't need a FOIA request, because FOIA, they're going to charge you out the ass. And then you got to fight that and possibly get an attorney to fight that. And, I'll never forget, I asked for specific things once. I ended up getting it because of different things that had transpired, but they tried to charge me $5,000 for freaking emails. All right. Because they can charge you for that person's pay rate per hour and all this other crap. You'll have to look up all the laws on the FOIA, but you can ask for it, you can get it, but they also quote you a price, and they always quote prices that are insane. Oh yeah, abuse FOIA all the time, all the time. And so moving on, knowing that situation, and then hearing situations that this parent just did. Let me pull it up. It's right here. I'll actually let you listen to it. You want to listen to it? Hang on. You can't see the picture, but hold on. All right.
Absolutely sick to my stomach and so angry. So I pick my 4-year-old autistic non-speaking son up from his pre-K that he's only been at for 2.5 hours. And they say, oh, he was complaining about this scratch. We don't know how he got it. Probably he scratched himself. He might have scratched himself, but he did not do this underneath both of his arms. Underneath both of his arms in the same spot, it looks like they grabbed him too hard. I think they grabbed him too hard. I don't see any other way that could have happened. How in 2.5 hours could he have marks like that? He's not self-injurious. He doesn't have any self-injurious behaviors. I will not be sending him to school tomorrow, and I will be getting to the bottom of this.
Okay. So there you have it. That I will be getting to the bottom of this. All right. I would have been way past her at this point. All right. So he had marks underneath his arm. All right. It was black and blue right under his armpit. All right. And then he had scratches right here. All right. So he had scratches right here, which you could kind of see that he scratched himself here more than likely. It does not in any way, in my 2 decades plus of experience in working with kids, I don't see someone else doing that. I believe that was him. I can't say for a fact, but it definitely, it looked like anybody else. You could have it. I could have it. It was scratches. All right. But under here, I don't see him doing that. You would have to push and he was black and blue and purple. All right. All under here. All right. So that's where we're talking about a different situation. I have pictures of a child that I'm going to be showing on my membership. No face, just pictures. Of where on his front and back, it was as if someone had hit him hard. It was an impact type mark. And of course, the school will do them. This is what happens. All right. The first effing thing y'all need to do, excuse my language. All right. There's a joke that I'm going to put out there about my language because it's like put money in a jar when each time you cuss or whatever. And then how your budget isn't as high as your mouth or something like that. I'm like, I need to so do that. Okay. So, if your child comes home with any type of mark that is outside what you know as the parent. You know, okay? Parents have seen it. It's not something just happens at school, all right? If a child's physical, 90% of the time, 90% of the time, it happens at home too. All right. My daughter, she'll hit herself right here when she's real pissed off. She'll hit right here. She'll just do that like real hard. And does that mean she's not going to have a red mark here? Yes, she does. All right. But she does it at school too. You know, it's not like she just does it here. She does it when she's frustrated. And that's what she does, you know. But one thing you need to do, because I always say, cover your ass. Okay. When you have a child with special needs, cover your damn ass. I know many people don't think that way, but you've got to start thinking that way. And in my membership, you're going to think that way. I'm going to change your freaking mindset. All right. Don't join my membership if you don't want your mindset changed. Your mindset's going to change. You're going to learn how to address these things and not in a, can you tell me what happened with my child today at school? You know, he came home with, marks and this is unacceptable. And, I don't understand, why you wouldn't have called me, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that ain't coming out of my mouth. I'm not telling him I don't understand why you didn't call me. Why would I say that? Why would I say I don't understand why you didn't call me? I would be like, WTF, why didn't you call me? You all gotta not think. Y'all need to flip out. Do you know how to flip out? Flip out. Flip out. All right. There's some things that you let go. There's some things that you address. And there's some things that you just flip out. Flip out. All right. But you don't want to make it where you flip out all the time because then people aren't going to take you seriously. All right. So I'm going to teach you that too. When to flip out, when not to flip out, when to handle it assertively, when to not handle it assertively. Okay? Because there are certain times and places for each. There just are. All right? And the more you catch somebody off guard, the better. I've had parents say, should I send this ahead of time? Should I just let them know? No, you should not do that. Do you think they're going to do that to you? No, they're not. All right. So, one of my good friends, all right, I'm her advocate. And, they always say, like, don't do things with friends or whatever. She could be listening to me right now. But no, it's okay. It's working out. But it's one of those things where her case ended up being, it's a difficult case. I mean, let me tell you something that I've learned. These small towns, the little towns, they suck. We're not talking New York City, California, and some difficult things that are going on. Oh, no. When I say small towns are a piece of work, let me tell you, they are the slimiest. I don't know how to use proper language. I'm sorry. I can't even tell you. I can't tell you because I don't know how to use the proper language. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. It's that bad. They are the most twisted, backstabbing, and many districts are like this, but the small towns, when I say small, I mean small. Okay. I'm working with a town right now where there's only one elementary school. All right. One high school, one middle school. All right. One of the high schools in my area has more children than all three of their schools put together. All right. And I don't even know what to tell you. I mean, these small school districts where, you have to drive like an hour or two to get to like a big city, it's bad. I mean, bad. And they are twisted people. I'm like, and let me tell you something. Each person, each of my clients, because I'm working with 3 different clients right now that live in these small towns, four clients. And one of them I haven't experienced yet. And 3 of them I have. And my friends is one of them. First, we asked for gen ed because they had never tried it. And so they said, okay, they weren't for it at first, but then they knew they didn't have a choice because they had never tried gen ed. And they just threw this child in restrictive setting, and this child should totally not be in a restrictive setting. And, but now they're all of a sudden making it like this child has behavior problems. She doesn't at all. Does she have meltdowns like a typical 5-6-year-old? Yes. Does she have learning difficulty? Yes. But that's all. She doesn't have autism. All right. She has dyslexia more than likely. That would be my guess. And which is what is the culprit of everything else stemming from what's going on with her. Okay. And typically I'm right on this. Typically I'm right. So I'm going with this one because I'm pretty sure that's what it is, hands down. All right. I'd be willing to bet, my left arm for it. And all of a sudden, mom's getting notes home. She's not listening. She actually the teacher didn't put her in a picture with the fireman came and, the truck and all that kind of stuff. She was not in the picture. And then she got a note home. Mom got a note home saying, oh, she wouldn't take the picture. This is not like this child at all. Not her personality at all. Not something she would have done at all. Not a picture she wouldn't want to have taken at all. It just didn't make sense. She had an accident, and the school email or messaged the parent with, the communication form, and said to the parent that it was the child's fault, that she got up. We're talking kindergarten. She walked out of the cafeteria and went to the bathroom on her own without asking, and then started playing with her poop. This is a child that has never done any such thing ever. Okay. Does she have accidents? Yes. Does she like to have accidents? No. All right. This isn't a child that is doing those things. All right. Or has a history of behaviors and doing these things. But all of a sudden, mom's getting things home about this. Why? Because we took the child out of gen ed or out of special ed, a more restrictive setting, because she didn't belong there. The school is now retaliating because they don't have the people. We don't know. We're guessing. They either don't have the people, they don't want to deal with it. We don't know as of yet. It could be a combination of, but they don't obviously want to deal with it because they have totally neglected the fact that, or ignored the fact that they're the adults here. You don't go blaming a child for things like that. Where the hell were you? Where were you when she got up from the lunchroom and on her own went to, God forbid, she went to the bathroom and, had to go poop? My God, that was just an awful move on her part. And then she had an accident and, all of a sudden she was playing in her poop. How do you know that? You weren't there. It's in her IEP that you're supposed to support her. You're supposed to help her. Why didn't you do it? Why all of a sudden is she having behavior issues in a gen ed setting? Child doesn't have behavior issues. She's never had behavior issues. Does she act like a typical child behavior-wise? Yes. Why all of a sudden we put this child in gen ed? You're seeing all of these issues and they're all coming home. Well, let me tell you something about this. All right. Because this leads to many of these situations that we're seeing with the abuse. All right. And it's not okay. All right. One, a child coming home, we're going to address that first. A child coming home with marks on them that you, as the parent, caregiver, whomever, know are not typical of that child, that they have done at home, that they have done somewhere else, that you have seen them do, that you know that they do, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Then the first thing you do is take a picture. All right. And we're taking a picture with a time stamped app. All right. I'll tell you what that is. It is called timestamp. That's what it's called. All right. It is called timestamp. All right. And it literally will tell you, like, it has the date, the time, my address. It just automatically comes up, my address and everything. It's all right here, literally on the app. All right. I turned it on and it automatically had the date, the time, and my address. All right. I didn't put my address in. It just came up. All right. And so you record your child or take a picture, whatever. Okay. That's number one. The next thing you're going to do is you are going to call this number called 911, or if you know your local police department's non-emergency line, you call that. Okay. And you say, "Hi, how are you? My name is Raven Woods. I need to make a police report regarding my child who has come home from school with marks on them. And I need a police officer to come out to my home and take a report." Okay. That's what you do, number two. Okay. You get the report, you get the documents. Make sure you get those documents of the report number, et cetera, et cetera. All right. You ask the police officer, "Where can I get a copy of your written report?" Okay. "When will it be ready?" They'll usually say like 24 to 48 hours, something like that. You can come get it down at the station. Just ask the front people, that this is the number that you need a copy of the report. All right. So that's what you do, is you take a picture, you call the non-emergency line, you make a report. Okay. Then let them do their job. Now, you're making this report based on no information other than your child came home from school at such and such time, according to the timestamp, and this is what occurred. All right. Because one, you either know when you picked your child up, they know when you came through the line. There's schools that have cameras. Or if your child came home on a bus, that bus driver has cameras and they know when they dropped your child off. So somebody knows when they dropped your child off. So when you take a timestamp picture, the timing is going to align. All right, with everything. All right. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get on your computer. All right. And you're going to state the facts. On such and such date, my child came home with these marks. Here they are attached. I made a police report regarding said matter. I want a written, detailed itemization of what transpired and what took place that ended with my child having marks on their body. Period. In no way, shape, or form will I accept the response from you of I will investigate the matter and get back to you. I don't give a rat's butt who you want to go and investigate. Not my problem, not my deal, nor do I care. You go direct to the sources of who works with my child. If that's what you call investigation, fine. But you're not a, police officer, so I'm not really sure what your investigation entails. I don't really care. But what I care about is you're going to march your butt to each of those staff members. And yeah, this is what I say. And you're going to ask them exactly what happened. And as the administrator of the school, the principal, you better pray to God that you get exactly what happened and a timeline of what happened with my child in your school under your care. Because there's no way that I don't know or I did not see it is going to suffice. And if you make it up as the parent, I will know. I will know. And in situations like this, people talk and people start having what's called a conscience. And I will find out what happened. So I would much rather the truth, even if that means, yes, we were restraining your child and it was too hard. Your child was doing XYZ and this is what happened. But if they restrained your child, they have to let you know. They got to call you after the fact. They have to. So the fact that they didn't call you and your child came home with a mark on them and they didn't call you, provide an incident report, nothing, we got problems. And me, you guys do what you want. But me, I would be like, I will sue you and I will sue you personally. Okay? Personally. Not who, what about Rocca? Not, oh, I'm going to sue the school district. Nope, they didn't do it. You did. It's your school. I will sue you. And guess what? I can sue you personally. I sure can. And the school ain't going to pay for your lawyer. I can tell you that now. I can tell you that now. Believe me, they get lots of money. Education has a ton of money, but they sure as hell ain't spending it on you and your attorney. I can tell you that. But no. If someone comes clean about what my child did or what happened, we can work. I can work with that. I can work with that. I can work with the truth. Even if you screwed up, I can work with the truth. All right. But there still was wrongdoing. If your child comes home, you see the marks and nobody called you. Do you see how that just started off with things messed up? All right. And the seriousness of a child coming home with marks like that is, do you think for 1 second, all right? And no, I'm not that advocate to say, oh, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. No, they need to come clean or no benefit of the doubt. You call me before my child comes home saying, hey, I just want you to know before Billy comes home that he has a mark underneath his arm. We had to restrain him today because he did XYZ. I wanted you to know before he comes home because I didn't want you to be surprised. And then, of course, I would have questions and whatever. But then at least there's that communication. There's that honesty. There's that transparency. There's that, hey, yeah, this will happen, et cetera, But if your child comes home, because this is what I'm seeing, is children are coming home They're not being called. Parents are not being called. And then when the parent emails, they're getting, oh, I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. And parents, I'm going to tell you right now, if you advocate in any way, shape, or form, your child comes home, they didn't say shit, guess what's going to happen? I've seen it happen. They are going to flip it. You did it. You did it. It didn't happen here at school. No. Child came to school looking like that. They didn't, we didn't see anything like that. And we had a one-on-one, and, there were 4 teachers in the room and everything else. If you think, all right, I know you want to think the positive. I know, don't we all? But with everything I've seen, y'all need to take your mindset right on out of that. Take it right on out of that. Because even though the good does happen, it does. It does. The bad does too. And you do not want the bad with marks. All right? You don't. And I'll tell you a quick story. Skylar. This was years ago, of course. Child likes to swing. To this day, 17, likes to swing. She came home every day. I'll have to find the pictures somewhere. Every day with, on both sides of her hips, kind of like, when you would scrape your knee or whatever, when you would fall on the cement. It was these, about that size, on both sides of her hips every day. I kept asking every day, what's going on? What's going on? What's happening? She's this. I took pictures, sent it to him. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Nobody told me before she came home with that what was going on. All right. After 2 or 3 times, I started time stamping it. All right. And kept asking, we're talking 30 to 45 days passed. All right. This is the shit that schools pull. So I'm in an IEP meeting. I'm still dummy. All right. I know shit, but I was getting smart. This was the time that I was getting smart. I was in the growth stage. All right. So I wasn't in the what is it? Preliminary, child stage. I was in the juvenile stage. All right. This is how they call snakes too. Did you know that? When Rocco got bit by a snake, they called it a juvenile snake. Because my dumb self, the first thing I thought about, I didn't even look at Rocco. I just took a picture of the snake. You remember this, guys? Oh God, that's another story. So anyway, this is juvenile stage. All right. And took pictures, took timestamps. 30 to 45 days goes by. I'm in an IEP meeting. All right. And I said, my stupid self, all right, this is why you don't say things in advance. Okay. I said, fine. If y'all don't know what happened, then I'm calling CPS. That's what I said. Well, I get home and, I got busy and whatever. I was planning on calling. I just hadn't called yet. Do you know the next day, CPS shows up at my door? Oh, yes, they sure did. She comes in and she says, yeah, I got a phone call, and of course they don't tell you who it is. And I said, oh, you did? About what? And she said, because your daughter's had, marks on the sides of her hips and, the school's really concerned and blah, blah, blah. I said, they are, huh? I said, I bet they are. I said, because in the IEP meeting yesterday, I actually told them that I was going to be calling you let me tell you, because here's the recording, at such and such time. Did they call you after such and such time? Oh, I'm sure they did. Okay. So I recorded the conversation. So now so now she knew that I had said that before the person called, because they timestamp when people call with CPS. All right. So that was number 1, caught them there. I gave her the recording. All right. And one thing that I am very smart about doing, maybe that's, my parents being in the legal field, is I made a timeline. I do it with school districts too. I'm like the timeline queen. All right. That's going to be a, a training that I do with you. You're going to learn how to do a timeline with your eyes closed. How to do it a proper way, and how to get one hell of a response the minute you send it. I'm telling you, it will get you a response. All of a sudden, things start coming. Things start happening. Holy shit. Why couldn't it happen before now? I got to send a timeline and then you make it happen? Why? Right, Kim? Right? Right, Bill? All of a sudden, I do a timeline, or I tell you everything that you violated against, and bam, you guys are all on it. I mean, how we are so sorry. What can we do to work it out? This, that, and the other. No problems anymore. I had a team that I did this with a parent. We did a timeline. It was the longest timeline I ever did, 32 pages. And do you know, all of a sudden, next meeting, we didn't have any issues anymore. They didn't have any issues whatsoever. Putting the eligibility category of a speech and language impairment and a specific learning disability that they argued for multiple meetings, but all of a sudden, they had, I don't know, they slept on the right side of the bed. I don't know. It just happened to be right after this timeline, but all of a sudden, literally the psychologist and the director goes through the checklist. Yeah, she qualifies. We don't have a problem with that. Check, okay, yep. This question, okay, yep, check. She's got that. Yep, check. She's got that. Yep. That's what happened. All of a sudden. Oh, man. Mind you, I send it to the superintendent too, and director, and everybody. I make sure everybody knows about it. There's no secret. No one chit-chatting amongst each other. Everybody knows. I don't leave anybody out. And if somebody emails the parent or emails me and takes everybody off and just emails me and the parent, because everybody else is BCC'd, right? So when they do that, guess what? I add everybody back. Everybody's getting the response back. Directors do that a lot. They don't CC everybody, actually. I don't even think they BCC everybody because they don't want everybody knowing the shit they're pulling. So I make sure to add everybody back so that they know the screwed up stuff that admin is doing. All right. So you've got to make sure you cover your butt. You've got to cover your butt. So I gave her the timeline. So she had the timeline. She had the recording. All right. She had all of my emails that I had given her of asking what's going on, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. And so I give this to her while she's here. So she knew it had nothing to do with me. All right. She knew, hands down, within the first 5 minutes. So she said, well, I'm going to go check out the school. So she did. It happened to be the swing hitting both sides of her hips and I guess pinching it or whatever. All right. But the thing is I was not blaming the school. I was asking what happened. I knew it wasn't something that someone physically put on her because it wasn't that type of mark. It was a mark like you fall on the sidewalk and scrape your knee, but it was on both sides of her hips, which is kind of an odd place to get that type of mark. And no one could tell me what was going on. So that's what pissed me off, is they didn't know what was going on. Why the hell aren't you watching my child? Right? Well, it comes to light that the CPS lady went out to the school and found out that it was the swing, which is what I had asked initially, and they said no. So she went out and, figured it out and whatever. So the school was actually founded on that complaint. So they called on me because I was going to call on them. I showed all the proof and they end up being founded. Because, it could have been dropped completely, or it could have, they were founded on it because they, this whole time, had the opportunity to figure. I mean, if that lady could go out and figure it out that quickly, why couldn't they? Right? So it blew up in their face. So when you have a vindictive nature or are nasty like that, now I can be aggressive and I can go after school districts, but I'm not vindictive. All right? I'm not slimy. I will do it right up in your face. If I'm going to do it or if I'm going to say it, everybody's going to know. All right? So it's not oh, I'm just going to tell Aaron or I'm just going to tell Kim or I'm just going to tell the director. No, everybody knows. There's no secrets here. This is a team. You're all going to know. All right? So make sure that everybody knows about it. All right? Because you never know if something happens to your child. You email everybody, someone may come clean about it, even if it's under the table. That actually happens a lot because teachers feel so bad or somebody feels so bad that they're like, hey, this is what actually happened. Or they'll say, this is what I heard, or whatever the case is. It's under the table. Can you prove it? No. But, at least you have an idea versus I don't know. We didn't see it. But police report, send an email to everybody, and make sure that you don't just accept, because that's what they say. They're like trained to say that. Every single district has said the same thing. We'll investigate it and get back to you. We'll investigate it and get back to you. You don't even want to know what I have to say to that anymore. Don't even tell. I tell them now, don't even tell me that. Don't even bother telling me that. I'll give you 1 hour to go and find out what the heck happened and get back to me. That's what I'll give you. 1 hour. And don't tell me you don't know. Because that means you weren't watching my child. That's what that means. All right. My daughter, when she was younger, used to cut her clothes, but she had a one-on-one that it was put into the IEP where the one-on-one was within hand length proximity of her, something like that. Bottom line, she was cutting her clothes. Now, did I know that she did that? Yes. She attempted it here too. But did I know that if I kept things out of reach to where she couldn't get to it anymore, then she couldn't do it, which is what I did, right? Well, they didn't do that. It's kind of like when you baby proof a house, you have to baby proof a room. If that's what's happening to a small child and that's what's going on, you got to child proof that room. And when they do have scissors, then you need to know to have that one-to-one with them at all times. Well, here's the funny thing that they would say is the one-on-one was with her the whole time, but she was so fast. She was so fast. Okay, well, if my daughter's in front of me and I'm working with her, right? And there's scissors, say, in front of her or whatever, it is not likely for me not to have caught it unless I'm distracted. And then 100% I wouldn't catch it. Okay, so that's what that told me, though, is that one-on-one was sitting by my child, distracted, talking, doing whatever, working with another student. That's what I found out she was doing, working with another student. And then my child's cutting her clothes. And it was a safety issue as well. So you got to get to the nitty gritty. You got to get to the problem 100%. You cannot accept, oh, let me go investigate, and then they don't get back to you. Or they'll say, I'm going to go investigate it and I'll let you know what happened. And then they'll come back to you and say, nobody is aware of what has transpired. We will be more alert of this if it comes to light again. That's not a sufficient answer for me. Is that a sufficient answer for you? Curious. Phones do this time and date stamp when taking pictures. That's happened several years ago with a bruise. All right. So, bottom line, just be mindful and, don't think that you can just come across with this type of situation as quick as the tables can turn, okay, and not be a happened at school, but could be flipped and made to be happening at home. These marks. That is at times, not always, but at times a tactic. We're not going to say anything because then they can't prove it happened at school. If we say something, it brings it to light. If we don't say anything, you see? So that's it. This mom says she's going to get to the bottom of it. Well, first thing you need to do is make a police report. That's one thing I didn't do that I wish I had done, that I learned later how to do by having other people do it and seeing the outcome. Oh, they jumped through hoops then. Very rarely are school districts held accountable. You got to really have some shit on them. But the key thing is not that. The key thing is documentation. Documentation, 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 hands down. All right. It's not about, I want to get so-and-so in trouble. It's about having it documented in that way makes them do their job. Okay. So hopefully that helps. This isn't really a topic I like talking about. Not my fave. Would rather stick to IEP. I like behavior, but the whole CPS and retaliation and, the truancy and not my favorite topics. Not my favorites. All right. So take that, do as you may. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.